Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ollie Rodriguez Dolman, and in this video I'm going to be talking about the records that are potentially coming out this year that I'm excited to get my hands on, or the ones I'm going to be keeping my eyes on, and some of the ones that are rumoured slash what could potentially get released on vinyl that I would like to get my hands on. But without further ado, I'm on the road to 5,000 subscribers, so if you would press that subscribe button, that'd be greatly appreciated. I am a hip-hop vinyl collector. I talk about Eminem quite a bit, as you might gather from the t-shirt, and if you like any of that, then you might want to subscribe for more. So, the first record I want to talk about is one that I have pre-ordered already, and I'll kind of go through my pre-orders first, is Dr.Dre The Chronic 2001. For this album, for the 25th anniversary, I believe it is, Interscope have released a very limited to 2001 editions versions of The Chronic 2001. This to me is probably one of my favorite hip hop projects of all time. I can't remember who told me first. It was either one of you guys on Discord or it was Verse who told me, but the second I was told, I went and purchased it. I didn't even give a second thought to it because as one of my favorite albums of all time, I wanted to get a very special version of it. Like, I don't think they've really ever done like a alternate cover or any like variation on the Chronic 2001 in terms of like a vinyl record, and I just knew when I heard that number of how limited it was gonna go quick. And in case you don't know, what is kind of like different about this one is it's literally Chronic on the cover, and then it actually even just adds the cherry on top to it. It basically comes in the bag that the product would come in. And obviously you can see the product shots of it right now on screen, and I think it perfectly encapsulates what the Chronic is all about. May not be one that I can really display too much, but it's still cool nonetheless. So that's the way I wanted to start this video, because that's probably one of our most exciting pickups of 2025. And this next one is a technicality because I haven't actually received it yet, but it did come out in December of 2024, so it's kind of not a 2025 release, but it is kind of as well because of when it's getting delivered anyway. And this record was celebrating its 10th anniversary, and there were 2 or 3 different versions of it that came out. So the record I'm on about is 2014 Forest Hill Drive, and yes, I was able to get, or at least fingers crossed I'm able to get my hands on, but I was definitely able to order the very limited 2014. Like, I've got one of them. It's been delivered to my old place, which is fine. That's like my mum's house, so it's not like I've just ordered a really rare, hard to get record to a house that I can't go to anymore. Don't worry. I've recently moved for context, by the way. So I'm kind of hoping the next time I pay a visit, I'll have that record to pick up and be able to show you guys. They did like a blue cover for the 10th anniversary, and I'm not gonna lie, like, it was fine, but it kind of, I'm not gonna say it felt lazy. It just didn't really suit the vibe of anything, and I don't know, I just wasn't really messing with like the blue cover. I did kind of prefer the one they did with the just like regular cover, but it comes with a green like disc that matches the cover a bit more. I do prefer that edition of it, and I was kind of looking for that one at first. But then when I saw what they had done with this extremely limited cover, which is like this beautiful white with just like this simple like photography or photo of J.Cole in there, there was just something I don't know how to describe it, just like it felt really pure and like one I would love to get framed and put on my wall. And a little bit of a story about that one is I was basically at my girlfriend's Christmas party. I went upstairs to use the toilet and I came across it online, and it wasn't actually the pre-order. And what I mean by that, like on the official J.Cole store, it had already been sold, or it was sold out. So I kind of did a bit of digging, went onto eBay, and it was on there for like £180 slash a little more because of shipping costs. And I added it to the basket, and I actually, for once in my life, I said, you know what, no, I need to start saving my money. I need to be a bit more sensible with it, and just let's leave this one, don't worry about it. And I was just gonna leave it there. I went downstairs. I had taken a little longer because I was looking at this record, and my girlfriend sort of asked me, what took you so long? And then usually I wouldn't like tell her about my vinyl purchases or what I was thinking, but I was like, you know what, I didn't spend money on that record, so she might actually be a bit more proud of me for not doing that. I'm gonna tell her. And then just by pure chance, she told me to buy it, and I showed her it was like 200 quid, and she was like, yeah, just do it. And she's never done that for any of my vinyl records before, or told me to do that for any of them, so I kind of took that as a sign and was like, screw it, I'll do it. And kind of, from what I can tell, that was a good deal, because some of the prices that I've been seeing this go for is kind of insane. There's a couple I've seen that someone on eBay is trying to list it for like £9,000, and I'm just a bit like, yeah, don't think that's quite priced right. I don't think it's anywhere near that value, obviously. I think it's more, from what I can tell from more reasonable, quotation marks, it's probably around that £300 to £400 range, so that's a pretty good one that I'm excited to get my hands on. Okay, I'm gonna talk about him. The Weeknd. So, if any of you guys have like followed me on Discord, actually I don't know if I've really spoke about it much on Discord, I might have more made reference to it, but I know Verse is gonna roll his eyes at this. But yeah, The Weeknd. He's got a new album coming out this year. Well actually it's this month, isn't it? I think it was supposed to like come out in like the next week or so, but because of the fires he's delayed it till the end of the month, I believe. And I've yet again been stupid, very stupid, because I've got 4 versions of the album coming to me, I think. Now I've got to be honest, I love like so far this trilogy that's going on. Like, I love the 2 albums that have come before this 3rd one, but After Hours and Dawn FM, those were experiences I absolutely loved, and I have got my hopes up for this new one. Do I wish I had not purchased as many as I did? Yes, I wish I had not purchased as many as I had. Because I do not need 4 copies of this album. One of the covers I actually hate. Like, I'm sure there's like more meaning behind it from what I've read about this album. It is kind of like using a bit of AI to get the younger Abel. However, this cover, it's like got this blue coloring that I'm not really a fan of, like the color itself, and then just like this weird drawing of a baby on the cover of it. I actually don't like it. I know there was another one that came out, was like this artist like thing for the first time ever getting printed on his cover, or as an alternate cover, which that one I did miss out on, because at that point I was getting a bit fed up of all these like limited drops. And then finally there was just this one random like limited to 500 only in the UK, and it had like an Obi strip on it and I think a silver disc, and that's the latest one that was released, and I just kind of went, fine, I'll grab that one because it actually does look really cool. So it's not like I'm not excited to like see these records and get them in my hand or anything. I'm really excited for the album. I feel like it could live up to the trilogy. Do I wish they had kind of toned down the amount they were dropping for this in terms of the variant covers and everything? Yeah. Should I take some responsibility for not purchasing everything I see? Yes, I should. But hey, it'll be a cool little unboxing to do when that comes out. So that's the 3rd / technically like 5th or 6th in there that I can add to this list of most anticipated records for 2025. Carrying on with my pre-orders, we do have Eminem in here because Encore had its 20th anniversary in November, and after like 2 weeks, I think M's team sort of panicked and went, oh, we should probably release something for that because the fans were expecting something. Despite that, they didn't actually listen to what the fans were telling them to release, which is make Encore what it's supposed to be when he came out for a 20th anniversary drop. That's what people want to see from New M. Please just do that. You yourself have said in your interviews it could have lived up to the Eminem show. So just go back. Like, I know you can't just like go back in time and like re-record it, but you clearly have some unreleased songs that you can just like throw back in there. You have some songs on the deluxe that you released. Reorder it, take out some of the songs, and just try and show us what you were trying to do at the time. That would be somewhat appreciated. However, that's not the case with this 20th anniversary. The version I've got, they released 2. They did like just the regular cover with a blue disc, which I didn't get, but I'm kind of wanting that one, just so I can keep up with my whole like most unique Eminem collection thing that I've got going on. So I'm still debating on that one, but the one I definitely did get was the grayed out cover with the grey discs, because I did feel like that one looked at least a bit different. The track list was written out a bit weirdly on that one, so it's curious to see if there'll be any difference in sound on them, because I can't remember which ones they are, but the kind of like, I think Mockingbird, Toy Soldiers, and Just Lose It, they're single versions, whereas everything else is listed as an album version, which is kind of odd. And that's all I can really say about the Encore pre-order, but the one I am most excited for is the Kendrick Lamar GNX, because that one looks so clean. I've got the white limited disc that they've released. Obviously, I don't think I need to say too much on GNX because such a good album. I think it just kind of helps solidify 2024 as the year of Kendrick Lamar. And I think one of the things I've been wanting to kind of get a bit more nailed in my collection is like when historic moments happen, or going back in time to like getting some historic albums, I want to have like more like history of hip hop within my collection. And I think GNX is one of those albums that deserves to be in there for more of a historic reason. So the one we got to cross our fingers for, Kanye. I have pre-ordered Bully, so that's great. Now it's actually just got to come out. There's been a couple like snippets and stuff that's come out, and it sounds like it's living up to what we're kind of hoping from Kanye. So let's wait and see what happens. I've paid for the pre-order on it. I'm not gonna lie, it wasn't actually that much. It was like less than 20 quid. So I don't know if that's still available now. I feel like that was just like a limited thing of you get it now or you don't. So I am very excited to see what comes out of that, and that's really one of my more exciting ones. But again, that's if it actually gets released this year, because you never know with Kanye, or Ye, sorry. And I am really hopeful that this sort of lives up to that kind of like, not like the old Kanye or anything, but I feel like there's going to be a lot more of that sort of like soul influence on it. And weirdly, I was seeing something where he might also be dropping Vultures free at some point this year, but that one's kind of more up in the air. Okay, so a couple predictions, because obviously one of the hard things about making this sort of video is you don't always know what's really coming out, and you kind of have to do a bit of a guessing game basically. And I've got 4 predictions here that are all anniversary based. And the first one I'm going to start out with is Eminem. Obviously I'm a massive Eminem fan, so that's what I've always like got my eyes on when it comes to vinyl releases, because I always want to get like whatever he releases on record. And this year marks the 25th anniversary of the Marshmallows LP, and I believe that is in May. And as you might spot in my background, this is what was dropped for the 25th anniversary of the Slim Shady LP. However, I'm a little bit skeptical on there being a 25th anniversary for Marshmallows LP. Something I've noticed is he doesn't really do anything for the Marshmallows LP, and I don't know if that's just because there's so much like confusion, or like there's stuff that they would like to drop but just can't, like say with the kids or Kim. In case you don't know, there's a bit of like controversy, or like, I mean obviously there's controversy about those songs, but it's a bit weird how it worked out on vinyl, because there's no version of it with the kids on there. And then I believe, from what I discovered from another YouTuber, or maybe someone who told me in the comments, I'm so sorry if I'm forgetting, but from what I know, Kim actually like is listed as a song on the vinyl, but you can't actually listen to it, and it's not on there. Or at least that's like with some certain editions. And then like this is the time for me to promote my Slim Shady Every Record I Got video, which I think is here, could be here. But for the 20th anniversary of the Slim Shady LP, he kind of went a bit mad, and like there were like 3 or 4 different versions of it. For the 20th anniversary of the Marshmallows LP, it was kind of just dead silence and nothing came out. Like over here I've got the Slim Shady 20th anniversary and the Eminem Show 20th anniversary in these like vinyl collector's books, but there was just nothing for the Marshmallows LP, which kind of feels weird that that's missing from there. So I am kind of hoping that the Marshmallows LP is going to have some form of 25th anniversary, because it feels really important and not like one you should miss out on. So whilst I am predicting there will be like a Marshmallows LP 25th anniversary that should come out on record, I am still quite skeptical about it. So we'll have to wait and see if that's actually going to be one that drops. I'd be really surprised if he didn't, because that is such a big anniversary. So we'll have to keep our eyes out for that one. However, my second prediction is another Eminem one. I believe this year we might actually get the 20th anniversary of Curtain Call. A weird release, I know. However, there was a deluxe that got released with the CD version and on streaming. Like for me, I've got to be completely honest here, I love the song Stan. Bold statement, I know. However, my favourite version of that song is the one with Elton John and where Eminem doesn't swear on it. From their live Grammys performance. I love that version of the song. And to have that on record would be so cool. And in a 20th anniversary package, you can just easily do like the green and blue disc, like just do something like that, as simple as that, and it would work perfectly. It's just a nice little 20th anniversary. And you could probably just make it like a perfect example. You probably just do it like a freeway gatefold, where you can open it 3 ways and just add 1 extra disc like in the middle here, and you can just easily do that and like add the 3rd disc where you get all that deluxe version of Curtain Call in there. So that's going to be my bold prediction for this. Like, it's probably like a bit more of a sleeper one that people aren't thinking about, because obviously Marshall Mathers LP is like its own thing. I think that could be a possibility of happening more than the 25th anniversary of the Marshall Mathers LP, in my opinion. And whilst we're speaking about like major projects, Kendrick Lamar To Pimp a Butterfly turns 10 this year, so I think we're going to see a really nice anniversary for that one, kind of similar to how they did for Good Kid, Mad City. I love my 10th anniversary for that one. And there's a guy on Twitter who like always shares, like, he's basically the guy like you come across where if you want to know if there's a new release coming, he's the like account to follow and he'll tell you. And he also shares like a bunch of like other like vinyl related bits, and one of the ones he showed was like this concept of a 10th anniversary for To Pimp a Butterfly, and it is beautiful. It's like the cover is just a butterfly with like kind of similar to like how this effect would probably go, like with the sort of like reflectiveness on it. So I feel like something like that would be really nice to see. So I've kind of got my fingers crossed for that, and seeing as they did do it for Good Kid, Mad City, I think there's a good chance they're going to do it for this, and that would just kind of like, it's just an extra thing to add into the current Kendrick Lamar era. And then my other prediction is probably just going to be OutKast with Stankonia, because that was a big staple in the year 2000, so I think there's a good chance that that's going to get an anniversary edition. Basically, if there's anything that came out in the year 2000, there's going to be a 25th anniversary for it to some degree. Those are some of my predictions, and to finally leave it off, I do have one record to very briefly show you. You guys on the Discord, you were very like vocal about how excited you were for it, and I kind of was just like, I'm not keeping my distance, but just keeping an eye on it and not really like thinking too much about it. And then it kind of like the release date just sort of snuck up on me, and I was looking on Instagram and I was like, I need to check out this album, but I'm kind of like bringing myself around to it. And Ballonerism, I just decided after seeing on Instagram that my local record store that's not too far away from my work had this in stock, I sort of said, screw it, I'm just going to go and get it, and I'm going to listen to it for the first time on vinyl, and it was an experience. And this is probably going to be in the conversation for album of the year, and we're not even like 3 weeks into 2025, and like this record itself is super beautiful. I've got a whole YouTube short on it. There's the back there, and then we have these beautiful white discs too. And honestly, this is an incredible album. If you haven't checked it out yet, go and check it out. Wanted to throw this one in here because whilst yes, it's a release record now, very limited, very glad I've got my hands on it, because it is a beautiful album. And those are some of my most anticipated records of 2025. So let me know if there's any that you've kind of got your eyes on, any artists dropping something, or even artists who haven't announced anything. Is there anything you're excited for or really hopeful for that might come out this year in 2025 so you can add into your vinyl collection? Anyway guys, I've been Ollie Rodriguez-Dolman. Please subscribe. We are on the road to 5K, as I've already said. Be genuinely really helpful as you can help me get to that goal. Anyway, leave a like if you enjoyed. Let me know in the comments what records you're looking forward to this year. And anyway, happy vinyl collecting. See you later.